My talk is about I'm fine. And it's very much a story about a lot of entrepreneurs in Kenya. I've been one for the last almost 10 years. And in those 10 years, I've been building businesses, and a lot of them. The first one I built was an iLab, which was something I did sometime in 2009 or so. And the idea behind that was to help other people build businesses. So my business was helping people build businesses, which is a dumb thing when you think about it, because if your business works, why are you having to build other people's? And we built 132 of them. That's a lot of businesses to build. And when you think about how to build a business, there's one thing that's a guarantee. The movie that I think some of you have watched, is it to the left? That one. The Ghost and the Darkness. It's an old movie, Val Kilmer, I think, and Michael Douglas. And the idea behind it was them hunting man-eaters while we were trying to build a road. I think it was in Kenya. I can't remember. I never watched it. Not a big movie person. And the essence behind that was trying to figure out how you smart, I know it's right, yeah. Trying to figure out how you, the intellectual person who is really, really small, taking up this 227 kilogram beast. It's like a cat, but with more cat and very large claws. And trying to get through the fact that this thing would come and snip off people one at a time in the night quietly. It's very much like building a business. You have a plan, but you're this size, and the task you're trying to accomplish is this size. It's like a cat. It's quiet, creeps up on you, then steals your money, your friends, eventually your sanity, then some more friends. Because you can pick them up as you go. And the black hole of entrepreneurship is something nobody talks about. And there's many reasons for it. But one of them is that it's a black hole. And the thing we know about black holes is it swallows everything. You don't even have the energy to say what you're going through because it swallowed it. And a lot of people in this space are going through that. And that's why when you think of the word entrepreneurship, for me, the first part that makes sense for every person is the first letters over there, those 5, which are spelled wrong. Because I think the R after the E, R-E. Because you're entering something. And no one's ever going to tell you that entrepreneurship is about entering something. Kind of like hell, just worse. But no one says that. We're all fancy. Oh my gosh, entrepreneurship. I want to be an entrepreneur. Hell. 2 big doors open. Hell. No devils, just pretty people, boys or girls, doesn't matter. Hell. And a lot of the time, as you're starting to build a business, these are some of the illusions that we have. That's the story, the single story. We sell ourselves that this is going to work out fine, and I'll get out on the end with as much money as Elon Musk. Hell is where you're going. And because of that, statements like these ring true. Excitement, terrifying. Excitement is about 6 seconds because you woke up. Terrifying is the rest of the damn day. And this is precisely what is happening with a lot of people. Because you're waking up to this idea that you created. Yes, I left my bank job, my insurance job, or I just never got a job and started my business. And it seems like it's going places. Somebody came to see me, I had a meet. When you're excited about a meeting is when you know you're an entrepreneur. I'm meeting someone, yes. I must have something to tell them. And the problem with that is our standards are so low for what a good business is, because we don't know what that looks like. Now, untrue to the fact, we've been doing entrepreneurship for a very, very long time. This is like a 1905 map, when the Sahara Desert was actually like not a desert much. And this is the routes that we used to use when we used to do business. Timbuktu is somewhere over there. Most of this stuff just kind of doesn't exist as much. But then it was there. We used to do travel. And this is not and this looks like something out of KLM or Virgin Atlantic, or this looks like an aircraft path. This is 1900 something. The only thing that flew then were birds or people committing suicide. It's one of those 2 things. That's all that flew. And look at that. We did a fantastic job of being able to do business. This is amazing. This is where it started. So it's not like entrepreneurship is a new thing. We've been doing it forever. In fact, in my mind, even she is an entrepreneur, probably one of the most resilient entrepreneurs we're ever going to come across. Your mama Mboga, the person who sells you cabbage, the one who feeds all of you. It doesn't matter where you live, the leafy suburbs of the adrenaline side of Kenya, she is feeding you. You might be paying top dollar at Cafe, but that tomato still is the same one I'm going to eat if I pay 30 bob. It's the same tomato. Yours is not fresher than mine, probably came from the same place. But the thing about entrepreneurship is we've always had a way of doing it. It's just then, it wasn't as crazy as it is right now. with everybody talking about Africa rising and how, oh my gosh, look at Africa, it's doing so good. Oh my goodness, are you seeing how they're changing the world? We've been doing this forever. Just now, these two magazines decided it's supposed to be Time and the other one. I forget the other one. Just imagine, what's the other one? That's not the one. The Economist, that's the one. It's the same thing. Just because we're on the front page of a cover, and they do something fancy like put the African continent in here in like a tree. And apparently we are awesome. Africa is doing some stuff, you know? Wow. Look at the African entrepreneurs. They're rising. Mobile technology. They know how to use mobile phones. And probably because of the one-story conversation we've just had on the previous TED Talk. Because they thought, whoever they is, whoever we is, we thought we couldn't do this. And we did. Because it was not a thing. But now the whole world is fascinated because that beautiful thing called numbers is proving that, hey, mobile technology is huge. Mobile money is huge. Mobile everything is huge. Just mobile. Look, we've always been doing this. It's just, hey, you know, you decided you had a few blank pages, let's put something in there. Africa mobile phones, Africa rising. Boom. The problem, though, is there are actually people. Oh, wait, sorry. Oh, yeah, I was going to say that. There are even books about it. And songs. Have you heard of Tina? This is New Africa. What? Jam, jam, jam. There's music. Fashion shows about African fashion. We've even done videos now. Queen of Country. We're trying to create our own story. And then when you have alcohol and soft drinks being named after Africa Rising, that's when you know you made it. Because there's booze named after you. And there's people carrying along the story, entrepreneurs. There are people doing it. There are people building things, boys, girls, men, women, young or old, LGBT, non-LGBT, all of it. We're doing stuff, and that's amazing. It's phenomenal. But people are dying as well. And we don't know that story. That's the elephant in the room. That the mental health problems people are facing doing what we do is immeasurable. Immeasurable first because no one has actually done a research to find out how measurable it is. So I'm just going to use that for now. But still, it's a problem. A lot of people are going to their wits' end and then borrowing their friends' wits and taking those as well and going to the end of those until they have nothing left. And that's what's happening. And the problem with that is, remember the black hole theory? That's what's going on. This guy has come. And he's slicing people, and he's not just slicing them physically and emotionally, he's slicing them in every shape and form, dream-wise. I'm seeing people taking really good ideas and throwing them out because they did not have the capacity or the environment to build them into things. No one has showed us how to deal with failure. No one has showed us how to turn what we do not know how to do into a conversation that we can get help with. No one has cared to find out how our brains work, or why they work the way they work, or what they do. Because in my family, extended, my mother and her 8 siblings, and my father and his 4 siblings, none of them have been an entrepreneur. My older sister, younger brother, nothing. My cousins, nephews, nieces, only one. And even she doesn't know what the hell's going on. It's so dark and so bleak that most of the time, that was supposed to be the brainwork slide. When you open a business, you're not even opening a can of worms. Remember that black hole we talked about? That's what you see when you open it. You have nothing. You have a plan, but you really don't, because you know it's going to fail. It's the day you open the door. You have a strategy. You really don't. Because, hey, no one has a plan till they get punched where? If you're an entrepreneur, you're not going to say the face. Because the face you can come back from. There's somewhere else they punch you. No one told you about. When you have nothing to work with, it's impossible to come out with something when you have a blank sheet, especially when the demon is in your mind. I've met 6 or 7 people in the last 6 months who have crashed and burned completely. But they're running $3 million companies. It's in Kenya. See, if you're in the States, you're running $3 million, it's okay. Snapchat raised $25 billion. They've never sold anything. It's fine. $3 million, don't worry. We'll start like a seed company, and you come up with a seed that grows bananas, apples, and fruits at the same time, and then you'll be fine. $10 billion. But in Kenya, when you have a $3 million company on VCs, you're constantly on the edge of a breakdown. 6 or 7. This is what entrepreneurship looks like in this town. It's you in a misty, is it dark, darkish place You don't know where you're going. You don't know what's next. And you could be hit by anything from any direction in any way, shape, or form. And this is not just Nairobi or Kenya. It's Africa. I know it sounds kind of weird to say that, but I've met a ton of entrepreneurs. I've been in this for a while. And this is how it feels like. This is how it looks like. But no one talks about it. No one tells you this is what you're about to get into. Everybody wants to show you that there's power in being something, in being part of the Africa Rising story. Rising from what, exactly? Africa Raising, meaning Africa raising venture capital? Africa Raising, it means reducing the level of poverty we've got in the country. Bitang Ndemo spoke earlier. We don't even know what that looks like. It's a story. And we're trying to prove that we're doing something we don't even know we're doing. There's no proof that this is happening. I can't give you numbers because no one has done the test. No one has asked you questions. No one even really cares to find out what it's like to be inside the mind of an entrepreneur. I look at your books, though. Look at your growth rates. Look at the number of downloads you have on the Play Store. I'll do that. How much money you've raised. I'll do that. But I won't care to find out how your family's doing. How's that partner you married a few years ago? How's your relationship? How's your spiritual well-being if you have one? How's your body looking like? Why are you dying when you're 35? That doesn't matter. And that's a problem. Because at the end of the day, this is how we're surviving. A lot more people than we could admit are surviving on this. And that's bad, because you expect me to fix your educational problem, because I'm in EdTech. You expect her to fix your health problem, because she's in healthcare. You expect him to fix your security problem, because, he's in security. This is how we go to sleep at night. More people than you can understand. So we need to talk about it. Because if we don't, remember that black hole I talked about? Even this conversation will disappear. And one day you wake up and wonder, what happened to that Africa Rising narrative? But there'll be no one to ask, because there'll be no one left. That's the Africa everybody thinks we're working with. The animal one. Giraffes and hippos and elephants. Did you see your elephant outside waiting for you to go home? That's what they think is happening. That's what we're trying to do. That's a lot of countries that we're trying to fix. And we're a handful. Even if we're 100 million, that's still a handful. Because the resources we don't have, the capacity we do not know we need, the kind of money we're trying to raise that we're never going to raise, whether it's because we're black or we're men or we're women or we're here or the banks don't care about us or no one's going to try and invest in us, doesn't matter. But we're not having an easy time. And it's important that you know that we're not. Let me start the conversation. At the end of the day, this is how you stand. You either stand on your own because you can't share and no one cares, or you create a flood of followers, a flood of friends, and a flood of confessions. Thank you.